Hi, welcome to another Seeing with Stars podcast. I'm Steph Johnson, and today's topic is the zodiac or the sun signs and cell salts. And I'm wondering if I have been wise to choose this topic when I have a lisp and am just getting over a cold. Anyway, I hope the eclipse season has been kind to you. And let's get on with today's topic. I'd like to thank Tanya of Merkaba Healing for reminding me of this particular topic. She recommended the book The Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation by Carey and Perry, and it's a fascinating read. And it's reminded me of the importance of tissue salts, or cell salts. The other thing is a lovely friend of mine and colleague, 96-year-old, and I did a previous podcast on him, Joseph Lyons, a very esoteric astrologer, used tissue salts right up until the end of his life. He passed away on March the 13th, sadly but not tragically, as he's left some wonderful legacies. So I'm going to talk about the tissue salts, the cell salts, or the salts of salvation as they're referred to in this book. And I'm also going to go through their association with the sun signs. But let's look first at 12, the number 12, because in Western society, the number 12 is significant. The number of months in a year, the hours on a clock, and the number of members, incidentally, on a typical court jury. The number 12 is also often mentioned in the New Testament of the Bible, such as Jesus' selection of the 12 apostles, which incidentally was a deliberate choice representing the 12 tribes of Israel. And of course, the influence of the Bible and Christianity is huge on Western civilization. The number 12 is also strongly associated with the heavens. As I said, the 12 months, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 stations of the moon and the sun, and the ancients also recognized 12 major gods of Olympus, or 12 major northern stars and 12 main southern stars. And so today I'm going to talk about the 12 cell salts or tissue salts and their correlations to the 12 zodiac signs or sun signs. Now, what are they? Let's start with that. What are cell salts? Well, they are found in all of our food, and they're carried into the blood by the law of chemistry, chemical affinity, and they keep our bodily functions running smoothly. They are 12 mineral salts that are found in the body that can keep our body running smoothly, and conversely, if they're deficient, then they can cause disease. Now, homeopaths will know a lot about this. Now, if you're familiar at all with natural health or natural health medicine or homeopathy, then you will possibly have come across the tissue salts, the Schussler ones, and they are significant. I know myself when I've had certain deficiencies and I've seen a naturopath, they have suggested that I, as a Sagittarian, could have silica, for instance. So there is seen to be a correlation for various reasons between your sun sign and these tissue salts or mineral salts. Interesting fun fact, if you are not squeamish about death, if we're cremated at the end of our lives, then our body ashes are largely consistent of these 12 salts. They are found in certain foods, and they're also available, particularly as I said before, through Schussler as tissue salts. But I'm no expert in this field of homeopathy or natural medicine. So this is just to kind of spark your interest. And so if you're interested in this, or it kind of does spark your interest, then please do further research. This is just meant as an introduction because I think it's fascinating that 12 corresponds with so many other things, and that we can also include the 12 major mineral salts with their correlations to the sun signs. So let's start with Aries, Kali phosphate. So this is all to do with the brain, using brain power, which is one of Aries' superpowers. In esoteric astrology, Aries, the mantra is, I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. And so it's very important for an Aries person to have a sharp mind. This is what makes them so strong and such good leaders, and the ability to be authentic and also sometimes to be sharp-tongued. So the cell salt that needs to be replenished if the brain is fuzzy for an Aries, or if there's been some sort of accident, because Aries can be headstrong and butt heads, all those sorts of sayings. So we look at Kali phosphate. Kali phosphate is a mineral which is the basis of the brain or nerve fluid. Now, Taurus is known for being materialistic. It's also known for being associated with the neck. And so if you're a Taurus and you have pain in the back of your neck, then you would be advised to perhaps take natrium sulfate. Natrium sulfate is connected with the blood and helps with lower brain and neck pain, or helps with the fluid there. Gemini is all about connection and expression. Without getting too technical, because this kind of biological science is not my forte, but there is a thing called fibrin, and this mineral, which is Kali muratricum, I hope I'm saying that right. I did do some Latin at school, so hopefully this is helping. Kali muratricum is the mineral worker that's vital for fibrin, which is for Gemini. Cancer is the mother sign of the zodiac. Cancerian people in general are known for their tenacity in holding home and family together. The esoteric mantra for Cancer is, I build a lighted house and therein dwell. So it's important that they have good mental health. So the mineral salt for Cancerians is Calcarea or Calcarea fluorica, and this is an important cell salt for mental health. Apparently, Cancer people are more likely to have symptoms indicating a lack of this elastic fiber builder than any other sign. So Calcarea fluorica. Leo is the heart of the zodiac and is ruled by the sun. The sun overflows with divine energy, and the sun and Leo are connected to the heart, and all blood passes through the heart. So phosphate and magnesium, what gives the impulse of the blood, or what improves the impulse of the blood as it throbs through the heart. So magnesium phosphate is the mineral salt for Leo. So what do we have for the discriminating, analytical and critical Virgo? We have pureness, don't we? And the mineral salt for Virgo is Kali sulfate, and this is found in considerable quantities in the scalp and the hair. Libra is a Latin word meaning scales or balance. If you're like me and you love words, then you'll love Latin and its origins and its influence on English. For instance, video. In Latin, that is I see. Audio, that's I hear. I just love those correlations. But here we have it in the zodiac. Libra, scales or balance, and hence you see that symbol of the scales. So it's no surprise that the mineral salt is the one which holds the balance between the acids and the normal fluids of the human body, and that is sodium or natrium phosphate. Scorpio is always associated with blood and sexual functions. Scorpios go through trials and tribulations, but if they go through those, then the possibilities in their lives are endless. So again, it's no surprise that the cell salt, the one of the blood, is the one that's connected to Scorpio, and that's Calcarea or Calcarea sulfate. The salt for Sagittarius is called the salt of the surgeon of the human blood, and it's found in the hair, skin, nails, etc. The bone covering, which is made strong through this particular mineral salt, which, as I mentioned right at the beginning of this podcast for Sagittarians, is silica. And just a little aside here as well, of course, I'm doing this for the sun signs, but if you found that your hair, skin, and nails, like sometimes they're cracking or they're not growing or they're splitting, then you could also look at silica as well. So this is why it's really cool to go and see a naturopath who knows all about all these things, because yes, it may be that as a Sagittarius or as a Cancerian, you need a particular mineral salt, but you might also have a different makeup or what we call a signature sign of your chart, and therefore that might be the magnesium salt that you need. But this is starting with the building blocks. Now we get to Capricorn, the goat. Now it's really interesting. The esoteric nature of Capricorn is often overlooked because of their stoic, practical, hard-working, business-like nature. But the goat and Capricorn can be very, very spiritual. The goat is an alchemical symbol, and in alchemy, the great work starts with the goat. So you need a foundation to start any great work. So Capricorn symbolizes foundations, and the foundations of the human body are found in the bones, and Capricorn is strongly linked with the bones. And so the tissue salt is calcium phosphate. Now for Aquarius, it's sodium chloride. And this is the birth salt for Aquarius people, the water bearer. This salt distributes water along the digestive tract. Now to Pisces, kind, loving people, kind to people in distress. We look at a different foundation. We look at the connection between Pisces and the feet. The feet are the foundation of the body, and iron is the foundation of the blood. Iron is also known as a magnetic mineral due to the fact that it attracts oxygen. And so Pisces people are magnetic, and we see that connection. So the tissue salt for Pisces is ferrum phosphate or iron phosphate. So again, we see that lovely correlation. So can you see the magical correlations between the tissue salts and the zodiac signs? And there's so much more that you can explore if this is a particular topic of interest. If you want to take this further, you could get the book The Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation by Carey and Perry. I'll put that in the show notes. You might also want to look up a practitioner who is adept at mineral salts, or you could just start to explore it for yourself. Thanks for listening. I'd also like to remind you, as several of you have been writing to me and saying, how do I book? You can book online. You can book on my website, www.seeingwithstars.net. And don't forget, just choose astrology consultation. And don't forget that you can use, if you've been listening to this podcast, the discount code for 15% of SWS Client VIP. Thanks for listening. I'm Steph Johnson.